Hello, guys, and welcome to a new class of your A1 level course. Today, we're going to learn something really important because I want to know if this has happened to you. Have you ever think about one sentence in another sentence and you only know how to write sentence, but you don't know how to connect them? You don't know how to make a long paragraph or how to make the thing that you want to say a little bit more fluent? Let's see how we can create long paragraph, how we can create long texts. And this is how we use the coordinating conjunctions, okay? The coordinating conjunctions are 7 words that we use to connect ideas one to another, okay? There are 7 words that we use all the time, and you will be surprised to know which ones they are. And another simple ways that you can remember these words is with the fanboys. But what are the fanboys? This is an acronym for all of the connectors that we're going to learn. For the F, or the first letter that we have, we're going to use for. For our letter A to connect two ideas, can you guess which word it is? And the second word that we have to connect is and. Now let's see our next word that starts with the letter N. We will have nor. Followed by that, we will continue with but and also or. Then we will have our last two that are yet, and the last one is so. Okay, so these are the connectors that we can use. These are the coordinated conjunctions for, and, nor, but, or, yet, and so. These words are used to connect different ideas. Remember that we can use it when we have the same situation, when we want to say a different opinion, when we want to compare different things in positive and also negative. So let's see some examples on how we can use the fanboys. Okay, guys, but to connect two ideas, remember they can be similar or they can be completely different ideas. We have two different ways to connect them, with dependent clauses and with independent clauses. But what is it? As you can see, I have the connector, I have the coordinating conjunction. In this case is and. I'm going to use and in both examples, and then we will see how we can use the other connectors in real life. So I have my dependent clauses. I eat burgers and hot dog. How can we know this is a dependent clause? Because it only has one verb. This means that if I read the first part of my sentence, I eat burgers, the sentence is good. But if I read the second part, that it's in hot dogs, doesn't make much sense. So in this case, the second part of my sentence is going to be dependent on the first one. In this case, as you can see, I'm only using one verb. This makes the complement of the object of this sentence dependent to the first part. And it's the opposite with the independent clause. Let's see the example and let's see if you can catch why is this sentence an independent clause. I read books and write stories. Okay, I read books and write stories. Let's go with the same example. If I read the first part, I read books. Makes sense. We can say that. And if I read the second part and write story, it also makes sense. That means that these two sentences are independent about each other. We can create independent sentences using different verbs. Remember that it's not a rule. You can use the same verb twice, but it's better if you try to find a verb that is similar or something that is has some relationship with the first part of my sentence. These are the dependent and independent clause. But now let's see how we can create the fanboys sentences using dependent and independent clauses. So now we know that coordinating conjunctions are connectors that we use to connect one same idea or one different idea. We can also use it to compare in positive, negative, and we can also use it to continue something. And those connectors are for, and, nor, but, or, yet, so. Remember, I also told you that we use this connector to make long paragraph to create a text that are a little bit more longer than usual, or that when we want to speak, we can connect our ideas more fluently instead of saying separated sentences. So let's see how we can use each of these connectors. Let's start with the first one that we have for. He goes to the store for some groceries, okay? This is a whole story, so you will see how good we can connect ideas one to another. He goes to the store for some groceries. The next connector that we have is and. This is the one that we use the most because it's the easiest one. Max buys some fruits and order eggs. Next one, we have nor. This is the negative form to compare something. Okay. For example, if we don't like this, we also don't like these other things. But let's see here how we make this sentence. He doesn't like apple, nor he enjoy pears. Okay. He doesn't like either of those fruits. So we can use nor to connect those two ideas. Moving on here, he tries mango, but he doesn't like them either. Okay, we have but. This is like a negative connector that we can use or to say something different to our first idea. He tries mango, but he doesn't like them either. Moving on, maybe he will choose bananas or grapes. Okay, here also we are comparing two things. Maybe he will try bananas, he will buy bananas or grapes. And then for our next connector that is yet, we have he was on his way to the cash register, yet he realized he forgot his wallet. We have two situations that are connected with the connector yet. And finally, but not least, Max doesn't have his wallet, so he leaves the store with nothing. We didn't have any verb, so it's a dependent clause. For our second one, we have buys, some, and order. We have two verbs that makes this example an independent clause. For the next one that we have, he doesn't like and enjoys. So we have two verbs making this example an independent clause. Moving on, we have he tries mango, but he doesn't like. We have two different verbs, and this makes the sentence an independent clause. Let's see what do we have next. Maybe he will choose bananas or grapes. In this case, we're only using one verb, and this makes a dependent clause. Moving on, we have he was on his way, we have was, and we have realized. This makes an independent clause. And finally, Max doesn't have and he lives. We have two different verbs that makes this last example an independent clause. So now you can see how you can create more text, more paragraph, and change completely the way you write or speak. But remember to always check our resources so you can continue learning.